Welcome to the Dynasty Dads Podcast. Football, rankings, debates, dad stuff with your host, Justin Williams and Matt Renshaw.
Hey, and welcome everyone to the Week 10 edition of the Dynasty Dads Podcast. I am your host, Justin Offensive Pass Interference Williams. And with me, as always, my good friend, Matt Renshaw. Matt, it's a real thing.
Yeah, it's just a twist on what you've already done.
What do you want me to do? I don't have a rule book in front of me.
I want you to be committed to the show and figure out penalties ahead of time.
I think what I should have did is I should have made a list of ones that I've already done.
Yeah.
That would help because it's I keep second guessing myself on what I've done, what I haven't.
Yeah. Good job.
Anyways,
Yeah.
Week 10.
Week 10.
Week 10.
Can you believe it's been 10 weeks? 9 weeks, whatever. But I mean, this is the 10th.
Yeah, I can believe it, Matt.
It feels like it was yesterday that it just started. Football season goes by fast.
Yes, it does. And we're going to talk about it today. We're going to talk about the news and notes. We're going to talk about what to do at this point in the season because this is a really pivotal point of the season.
Yeah.
We got some family stories, and at the end, we're going to update on our hot takes.
I like it.
Which we got some
good ones.
We have some changes.
We got some bad ones, too. We got some good ones.
So, Matt, how was your week?
Good week. I actually last week went out of town. Went to good old Scottsdale, Arizona.
And that is why we weren't on the air.
That's yes. Watched some baseball. Hung out with me and my dad. Went. No kids.
Nice.
Yeah, it was good. Coldest day was 75. Hottest day was 85. Just watched some rookie league baseball. So that was good. Let's see. Kid stories. Daylight savings time sucks as a parent.
Wow. Yeah, I couldn't agree with you more.
Okay. It's not fun.
No. With little ones, it's not.
I feel bad for my wife. She's a light sleeper. I am not. I sleep pretty heavy. So she's been getting up with the girls at 4:30, 5 o'clock. It's been rough.
Yeah, it's really thrown Carly off, too, because she was just getting to the point where she only wants to do, one nap a day.
Yeah.
And so now, with, the time change and everything, it's just been a grind.
Yep.
So she fell asleep on the floor the other night, just laying there and just passed out about 7 o'clock. So that was fun. And she just gets really, really whiny and cranky.
Yep, it's bad. I don't understand it. I loved it as a teenager. You get the extra hour sleep. As a college kid, as a newlywed, but as a parent of young kids, it's awful.
Mm-hmm.
So that's been our week. Yeah, just cranky kids, and my oldest is sick. She's got some stomach bug, puking and.
Cool.
Yeah. So it's been I was gone for a few days and then I came back and everyone was sick and cranky because they don't get sleep. And so, yeah, that's my week. We had Halloween. How was your Halloween?
Halloween was cool. Carson was a ninja.
Yeah.
And then Carly was an old lady.
Yeah. And
we got a lot of compliments on the costumes. Emily did a great job on the old lady one. We had people stopping us in the street, strangers.
And
tell us, well, not taking pictures. That would have been weird.
No.
But they were just telling us, great costume and oh my gosh.
Yeah.
That really high squealed.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there's that. My week wasn't good though.
Oh.
I turned 30.
Oh, yeah. Welcome to the club.
Man, I was so depressed.
Why?
I hate it.
I warmed up
I've
the
never
place
been
for
that
you.
way. No, I've never been that way about my birthday. I'm usually whatever, it's not a day.
Yeah.
And then I turned 30 and I just woke up in just a real, real bad mood.
You got one gray hair?
No, I just I don't know. It was weird. I'm still shook over it. I'm not even just playing.
Are you serious
I wouldn't have wanted to be around me at all on Tuesday.
You're fine.
I know, but yeah, it's just weird. It's weird. And then you can't complain about it either because then you always run to the one person that's 35 or 40 and
they're older than you.
Okay, yeah, whatever.
Complaining because you're 30?
Yeah, well, I got my AARP card coming in the mail.
Yeah.
It's man, this is where it starts though. For a lot of people, when they hit 30, this is where they get depressed about their age.
When's midlife crisis hitting you?
Already, I was already talking about.
You're only gonna make it to 60.
Yeah, on my birthday, I was already telling Emily, I was like, we should buy a rental.
Let's go to Arizona for the
I
winters.
was like, why don't we buy a house and like just rent it out? And I was like, oh, I think I want a Harley.
Oh my goodness. Jeez.
I'm not gonna buy a Harley, but I was just like, I don't know. It was a really weird feeling for me.
You're fine.
And then my kids were making fun of me. Emily was really making fun of me. You know.
Yeah.
I
As you
just-
robbed the cradle.
I just don't get it. I don't get it. I don't know what happened.
You're good. It's not a big deal.
It is a big deal, Matt.
It's not that big of a
It
deal.
is a big deal. I'm 30.
So am I.
And all I got to show for it is a stupid podcast with your butt. It's ridiculous.
I have 2 children, a lovely wife,
Yeah.
a home.
Well, the podcast is the highlight, let's be honest.
Oh my god.
No. But anyways, it was a nice birthday, though. They did their best.
Oh my goodness. Does she listen to this?
I don't know. She'll probably hear this one. But we went out to dinner, which was nice. They got my wife actually got me pie. Like chocolate silk pie.
And I understand why you're upset about being 30.
No, I was excited because I was like, I haven't had chocolate, a French silk
pie?
French
Yeah.
silk pie. I haven't had that since I was a kid.
Village Inn?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I just
those are
never.
great.
I don't like to buy pie, so it's just like she got that for me, and I was pretty grateful for that. That was pretty cool.
So the highlight of your birthday was French silk pie.
Well, and she got me this really badass Red Sox jersey or sweatshirt, not jersey, sweatshirt, which was pretty cool. And then I got some really nice headphones too, which I've been wanting for a while. So I had a good birthday. It's just you're still 30, you know.
Yeah. I'm worried about 40. You got 10 years.
Don't even start.
10 years, man.
I don't even want to think.
Think
about
of all the
40.
stuff you did from 20 to 30.
I know. That's why I'm depressed
So
about.
think of all the stuff
like,
you
I think
can
about
do
all
from
the years I
30 to
spent.
40.
I think about all the years I spent in like a 9 to 5, job making whatever I made.
And then you came home and played Call of Duty online with
went
your buddies.
home to my 1-bedroom apartment.
Yeah.
And like I've done a lot in the last couple of years. I'm pretty happy with the last couple of years. It's just I feel like I wasted so much
I
time.
wasted like 4 years.
That's a lot of time.
Yeah, but now you know not to waste years from 30 to 40. Like, it's only going to get better. I'll be your pep talk. You're fine.
Speaking of depressing, it's week 10. So a lot of playoffs start week 13.
Okay.
Some week 12.
Yeah.
Some crazy leagues do week 14.
And then they play till 18.
Yeah, which is weird.
Stupid.
But they don't do 18, but you know what I mean.
There are some leagues that do 18.
That's dumb. I've never been in a
Alright.
league that does that.
I'm telling you.
The
I'm
wild
not
card?
I'm not in a league anymore, but no.
There's only 17 weeks.
Okay, so the last week. Yeah,
Okay.
sorry. Yeah.
You okay?
Yeah. I'm 30. I'm just you made me depressed, dude. Like,
That's what I'm here for. So with this point of the year, Matt, I want to talk to you about it. If you're let's say you're a top tier team, you're not locked, but you're pretty close to locked.
so you're 6-3.
Do you have kind of like just kind of a general strategy? If you're at the top of the leaderboards right now, you're this close to playoffs. Are you? What I guess just take it from there. What are you thinking at this point? What are you trying to do, if anything?
If I'm a top guy, I'm looking ahead to playoff schedules and who's got easy schedules, who's got. This is where I might trade a guy. I'm trying to think of a top guy that maybe has a top guy that has a bad schedule for 2 lower guys that have really good schedules. If I think I'm a legit contender,
That's scary. You're playing with fire. I don't do that. If I'm for the rare occasions where I'm a top team,
yeah,
I usually don't play around with it at all because you dance with the guys that brought you.
yeah.
So let's say you're on the other opposite end. You're at the very bottom.
Sell.
Sell.
Yeah, as much as you can. You know me. I love making trades.
Yeah.
At least trying to make trades. I mean, I'll sell anybody. Everybody's got for me, like, I don't ever go in and go, there's probably only one guy that, for me personally, it would take a super duper overpay, and that's Zeke. But because I know I'm a Cowboy homer, everybody else has a price tag. I'll sell anybody if you come with what they're worth.
Yeah, when you're at the bottom, you really got to be kind of more patient. I think you got to look at it from this year's over.
Yeah.
So what is going to actually help me next season?
Yeah.
You need to really know who you have on your team, what their contract situation is, what the likelihood of them improving next year is, and you really got to make your moves from there.
I've talked to guys in other leagues that, like, so I was trying to make a deal, and I asked about Tyrell Williams. Like, he's a lower guy. He's having a hot year, but whatever. And the guy's like, no, I can't trade Tyrell. He's going to be a free agent. And I'm like, okay, I understand that, but I think that's where these lower teams should start looking at guys like that maybe a Tyrell Williams that's going to be a free agent that may go somewhere and see a stock bump.
Tyrell Williams seems like a
He's
rich man's Paul Richardson.
He's a poor man's Deshaun Jackson.
Ooh.
Speed, over the top, catches the ball.
I guess, you know who a good guy in this situation would be? If I had him on my team and I was bottom of the barrel, not going to probably make the playoffs.
Yeah.
Emmanuel Sanders. That's somebody that I would shop to those top teams and go, look, Demarius is gone. Cortland Sutton's still a rookie.
Yep.
Emmanuel Sanders has been extremely consistent.
Except for this past week.
But, I mean, you can throw him into – last week was a really weird game. You can throw him into, any competing team. Might need a little bye week help. We have a couple more of those left. Might be a good fill-in at flex. That's a guy I'd be shopping all over the place because what's he going to do for you next year? What's the He's probably going to be on a different team. Who knows? I think he's, 30? Almost 30?
Yeah.
So I don't know. That's a good guy I would shop around.
Yeah, you get a second out of him.
So if you're in the middle of the road, you're on the fringe there.
I would
You
sell.
making moves?
I would sell.
Really?
Yeah.
All you got to do is get in the playoffs. Once you're in the playoffs, it doesn't matter what your record is.
That's not true.
That's very true.
Yes, you're right. There's some luck that comes into play, but if you look at your team and there's a team that's 7-1 or 8-1,
all it takes is one bad week from that team.
You're right, but that means you have to have the best week of your life, and they have to have a bad week. I would sell. If you're not like top 2 or 3, you're rebuilding anyway.
Oh, I disagree. That's strong, and I get that's what you're trying to do here, but that's strong. That's strong. I think that's when you really take a look at some of those guys that are fringe players on the waiver wire, and you just take a plunge. You spend your money. That's another thing. A lot of guys I see end of the season with no money or with a bunch of money left in their pockets, and it's going to refill next season anyways. Yeah. That should all be spent. At about this point, you should be pretty close to having all of that spent. There should have been one guy you went out and got.
I'm
Chris Carson.
Maybe I'm the opposite. Like I don't spend a lot of waiver money.
I spend it in any league. I spend it in every league unless it actually carries over and you can build it. I spend all of it because it doesn't mean anything after that.
Yeah, there hasn't been. I mean, unless you
don't
get in,
say that.
unless you get in super early on a guy like Philip Lindsay after the second week,
which is what we said.
I know.
You should
I
get
gave that
those first couple weeks,
but I wouldn't at the time. I wouldn't have gone 80% of my fab dollars on Philip Lindsay. You wouldn't have either.
No, not 80%, but you should go real heavy early because it happens I know we had this conversation. It happens every year. There's a bunch of guys come out of nowhere.
George Kittle was last year's guy. And
Robert Woods is somebody that's put up double digits the past, 8 weeks? There's just guys like that every year. He's I think the 32nd. Yeah, he's in the top 32 of players overall scoring. Yeah. Robert frickin' Woods.
But he was owned.
Most places. In most standard leagues, but I'm sure he was dropped plenty. I don't know, man. I just don't know. I'm just a fantasy guy.
Yeah, you're losing your memory.
Living in a fantasy world. I made jokes like that all day. It's like, oh, I can't remember where I put my keys.
Getting old. You got some news? Or did you forget?
I didn't forget. Okay. I did the news and notes. Kind of all over the place since we missed last week because, of course, we take a week off on the week that's like the biggest news
everything
week
happens,
ever.
Trade deadline, and 5-6 guys get traded. And So
rather than go back and talk about all that stuff last week, I kind of ignored it because it's all old news now. So we're in week 10. The bye weeks, the bye week for these guys are the Ravens, the Broncos, the Texans, the Vikes. They're all gone. So you don't have any Thielen. You don't have a Demaryius Thomas second week in Houston. Guys you talked about, Philip Lindsay. All those guys are gone. So make plans.
Yeah, it's not a huge week. I mean,
no, not terrible.
Last week was bad. Last week was bipocalypse.
Speaking of bad, AJ Green is expected to miss the next couple of weeks with a toe injury, already ruled out this week. He's having a strong season, but Tyler Boyd should be considered a wide receiver 1 against the Saints and Baltimore. That's their next 2 opponents. Should he not?
Wide receiver 1 for them? Or wide receiver 1 for fantasy?
Wide receiver 1 for fantasy.
I'll give you the Saints. Like, I understand that. I do not think he's a wide receiver 1 against Baltimore.
Couldn't care less. I think he's matchup proof at this point. No?
No.
Really?
Still got Andy Dalton as his quarterback.
Yeah, Andy Dalton hasn't been awful.
He hasn't been awful. He's no AJ Green. I guess let me put it that way.
The thing is, there is no AJ Green now. For now.
Right, which means teams can go, oh, we'll stop this guy. When you lose a guy like that, and your number one is that elite and he goes away, that doesn't mean the number two is going to be elite now all of a sudden.
Tyler Boyd has had 3 games of over 100 yards receiving this year. Another game was last time he played Baltimore. He had 6 catches, 91 yards, and a touchdown.
Yeah. Who was on the other side of the field?
I get it. I'm just saying. Are you trying to say like Tyler Boyd's not matchup proof? Is that where we're going with that?
Yeah, I'm trying to say Tyler Boyd. I'm saying without A.J. Green, Tyler Boyd's value to me, his production takes a hit.
I think that's your. I think you're a little scared.
Of what?
I don't understand why that would change anything. He still beats those guys in coverage. They're still good players.
They don't have to cover A.J. Green.
No, I get that.
They're covering who's the wide receiver 3? Brown.
Oh, Josh Malone, Alex Erickson, Auden Tate, Josh Malone. I think I just gave you the entire wide receiver. Cody Gore, then.
No, you forgot somebody.
Cody Core. Sorry.
No, who was their first round pick last year?
John Ross.
John Ross
is awful. I think we can all agree.
Right. So none of those. You could put 3 of those guys together, and they're not as good.
Yeah,
as
but you
AJ
can't
Green.
leave them all open, though.
No.
I think that I get what you're saying. You're saying something that a lot of guys have said in fantasy before, but I just think it's a little flawed.
No. We will see.
It doesn't always play out
this
that way.
week. I like him against the Saints because the Saints, I mean, they're always high-scoring games, so it'll be a shootout, and I think it'll be okay. But
the Bengals are 5-point dogs, by the way, at home.
Yeah, I don't know if you know this. Big news this past week: the Saints beat the Rams.
Yeah, they're all right. They're all right. Let's stick with the Bengals for a little bit. Gio Bernard is back to practicing this week. Hasn't done that since week 4.
Yeah.
By the way, with Joe Mixon looking pretty damn good.
He's okay.
Should fantasy owners expect much from Gio this week and moving on for the rest of the season?
He'll still catch his passes, PPR guy. We just went over some of the other wide receivers that can't produce. I think Gio helps in that sense as a guy that has sure hands that can catch the ball. Maybe not this week, but next week I think he's back to the old Gio. No? Yeah, maybe?
If I'm going to start him, I'm going to start him against the Saints. I really don't have a problem with it. He's ready to come back. He's going to get a full week of practice.
6 weeks off.
Don't worry about that, the rust there at all. But, I mean, the thing is the ceiling is really there because in week 3 and 4, he had nice games. He had over 10 carries, over 60 yards rushing, 3 touchdowns in those 2 games against Carolina and Atlanta. So back-to-back on the road. Also got you 4 or 5 catches in both of those games. So, I mean, he's still a talented guy. I just think the ceiling's there to where you can maybe expect, at best, 14, 15 points from him.
Yeah.
And I think he needs to score for that to happen. Not out of the question. I just think that's what needs to happen.
Yeah.
We could also see Fournette return this week against the Colts.
Whoa.
Great matchup. He's participating in the individual drills at practice. And a funny little dad stat for you. Fournette has yet to finish a game this season. I think that's crazy.
Yeah.
You have to be curious to see what the split is between Big Len, TJ Yeldon, and not at the table, Carlos, Hyde. Rank the 3 of those the rest of the way.
Just like you did. Len, Yeldon, Hyde.
Not worried about Big Len getting injured quite a bit. Seems to be having a rough year. He can't stay healthy.
He does.
And that's been his MO for a while.
Yes, but if I'm going on who's got the highest upside, he's got the highest upside. He's going to get fed. He's Big Len for a reason. The risk that's associated with him, I guess, is for me, I would take it. If I could get Leonard Fournette and I'm still out there trying to get him in some places, like I like him.
Yeah, I think Carlos Hyde's clearly the 3 there.
Yeah, they traded a 5th for him.
I think Hyde has probably the highest floor. You're going to get something out of Hyde every week. It's just not going to be good.
I think Yeldon's the highest floor.
That's probably passes. Fair. Yeah, Yeldon does. He's caught passes in every single game, by the way. It's been crazy.
Yeah.
Michael Thomas hauled in 12 of 15 targets for 211 yards and a touchdown in the Saints Week 9 over the Rams. His torching of Marcus Peters for 72 yards at the end of the game broke the Saints' single-game receiving yards record, and that Joe Horn touchdown celebration was legit. What'd you think of it?
That was dumb.
What?
I mean, I get it. I understood the Joe Horn, like the nod to Joe Horn.
Dude.
Who owns a flip phone anymore? He had to buy it from a gas station.
That was what was funny about it.
That was funny. He had to buy 2. That's the bad part. Because he put 1 in each end zone. He didn't know which end zone he was going to score at, so he had to buy 2.
That's funny.
So it probably cost him like $10, but still.
Right.
Yeah.
I think he has the money.
He was a second-round pick. I mean, he's not as...
He was the 47th overall pick in the 2016 draft.
Yeah, second-round pick, so he's not making a ton of money. He's going to get paid.
$3 million guaranteed, and this season alone is $915,000.
So Laquan Treadwell is making more money than Michael Thomas.
He could buy a ton of flip phones.
Well, yeah.
A ton of them.
2,000 pounds worth of flip phone.
I don't know. I thought that was pretty cool. And I had no idea 211 yards is all it took to break that record for the Saints. You would have thought that would have been higher. All it took? Well, yeah. You would think it would be higher. Would you not?
No. 211 yards is a lot of yards.
Yeah, I know, Matt. But, I mean, he's come close to that before. He had 180 yards in week 1.
Yeah, what was the record before 200?
I don't know. I probably should have efforted that before. But no, I have no clue. I just thought that was interesting. Yeah. For the Saints having such a high-powered offense for so long, I thought that would have been
But
higher.
they've always been able to spread the ball around. Like Jimmy Graham.
No, that's true.
So
I'll give you that one. Let's see.
Man.
Geronimo Allison is out for the rest of the season with a core/groin injury. Happens all the time.
Yeah.
Especially when you get over the age of 30.
That's right. Except he's not.
Nope.
He's 26.
Allison, he might be younger. Allison has 20 catches on the year for over 300 yards and 2 touchdowns. Now, Marcus Valdez-Scantling seems to be further locked in as Green Bay's number 2 wideout behind Davante Adams. And since week 5, MVS has 15 catches, over 300 yards, and 2 touchdowns. The Packers' bye week was week 7, so that's pretty darn good. It's about 4 games there.
Yeah.
What's your thoughts on the rest of the way for MVS?
I like MVS. There's some people out there that are buying him I think they're buying him a little high, but
have you kind of flip-flopped? Because I know preseason
yes.
you were really high.
I was not high on
St. Brown.
Yeah.
Which I don't blame you. I'm just saying.
Yeah. I mean, any wide receiver 2 in the Green Bay offense is going to have value. I guess let me put it that way. I don't think Valdez-Scantling's the next breakout Davante Adams. I just think he's a guy in a high-powered offense that can put up points. He's looked good doing it, but I don't think he's the next top 10 wide receiver in the league. There's a reason he fell in the draft.
Yeah, but I mean, didn't they take him back him?
They took all 3 wide receivers 5th, 6th round.
Yeah, it was a really weird.
Yeah, they took 3 in a row.
We're gonna find a wide receiver here kind of deal.
Yep.
Yeah. Long term, what do you think of MVS then?
He's probably wide receiver 2.
Yeah. I'm talking, is he somebody, because you and I talked about it before the show.
Yeah.
We've seen a lot of trades come through on Twitter at Dynasty Dads asking us what to do with him and if they should accept trades, if they should be making trades and they all involve Valdez-Scantling.
Yeah.
Where are you on that? Are you willing to move for him? Are you willing to sell him right now?
If I could get what people are getting for him, I would sell. I mean, I think a first is too much.
Really?
I do.
See, I think at this point, if you're a team that's making a push, I think a first is well worth it.
You're willing to give up a high first for
a late first? Yeah.
Late first?
Yeah, okay. Because if you're a team that's in the playoffs, you're locked in the playoffs, you're pretty close. You just need a flex wide receiver. I don't think you can get much better realistically than Geronimo Allison right now.
Okay, so
not MVS right now.
Okay, so you talked earlier about Manuel Sanders.
Yes,
I would go trade a second for Manuel Sanders rather than a first for MVS if I was a contending team.
I don't think you could. I really don't think you could.
You think you get a second for Sanders?
I don't know if you could right now, especially with what they just did with Demaryius Thomas. I don't know if you could.
I don't know what you mean.
I don't think anybody would trade away Emmanuel Sanders for just a second-round pick alone right now. If you gave them a young wide receiver with, in return, I kind of get it, but I don't think you can do it straight up.
John Ross in a second for Sanders?
Possibly, if you find somebody that actually likes John Ross. Yeah. Good luck.
I think the price tag on MVS is high right now when you can go, if you're a contender, like you said, and pay cheaper and get a proven, a vet that's done it with a lower price tag.
Do you still like St. Brown? We haven't talked about St. Brown at all.
He hasn't looked bad. No. He's looked capable. He can play in the league.
He's had 7 catches, 143 yards, no scores yet.
Averages 20 yards a catch.
He's had 7 catches.
He's and 140-some yards.
Okay.
Quick math tells me that's
I'm just saying it's a really short sample size.
Yeah, I agree.
His best game was 3 catches for 89 yards in week 5 against the Lions.
Yeah.
That's all.
I like him. I'm definitely not trading a first to get him, if that's what you're asking.
I would. Where did that come from? No.
Trading a first for MVS.
But MVS has actually been performing. That's the thing, Matt. He's been performing. And now he's the wide receiver 2, like you said, in a Green Bay offense with one of the best quarterbacks in the league.
He's only averaging 15 yards a catch.
Yeah, okay.
Okay.
He
only has one more touchdown then.
He has 2 more touchdowns. He also
St. Brown doesn't have a touchdown?
He has 2 catches or 2 games of over 100 yards, like I said.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's all been recent. So he's definitely trending upward. And
Yes.
I without even looking, I can almost guarantee you he plays more snaps than
absolutely.
St. Brown.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I think he's worth that first. If it's a high
Late
first,
first, yeah.
If it's a late first, that's fine. A high first, I wouldn't do it.
No.
Mid first, I don't think I would do it either. But still, you got to take those risks, Matt. You just got to do it. Matt, we have to talk about him.
Who?
Amari Cooper.
Oh, Coop.
Caught 5 of 8 targets, 58 yards, and a touchdown.
Yeah.
And that was his debut as a
It's Cowboy.
rootin' tootin' cowboy.
Yeah.
It was a loss to the Titans, which is weird, and it was on national TV, which is sad. But his 8 targets actually led the team.
Yeah.
Next week, it's the Eagles.
Yeah.
What are you expecting this week from Dez Bryant? Not Dez Bryant.
I'm like, what are you talking about?
I was reading ahead.
It's not going to.
From Amari Cooper.
What am I expecting? I'm expecting.
Dez Bryant's clone.
Oh, no. He's so different than Dez Bryant.
Clone.
He's so he runs so much better routes. Dez Bryant
He runs better routes.
Dez Bryant went up and got the deep ball, the high ball. You know, he made catches in tight windows. That's not Amari Cooper.
No, it's not.
Amari Cooper runs amazing routes. He made Malcolm Brown look like an idiot. On a 5-yard route, he made him get 5 yards of space. Like,
Okay.
I like Cooper. I don't think Dallas trades a first-round pick for Cooper if they're not going to like feature him in their offense. They wanted someone that apparently can run good routes and get open because Dak is afraid to throw a challenging ball. But I don't trust Dallas's offense. Like, and the fact that they're not firing anybody or making any changes. Come on, Dallas. What are you doing?
Not only that, but they're also saying that they're going to extend Dak Prescott. And I'm like, why give him that comfort right now? Don't give him that comfort. Make them play.
It's Jerry Jones. Jerry Jones says one thing and then does something else.
Yeah, I just don't agree with that at all.
Yeah, I'm okay with him saying that if he knows next year they're gonna have a new head coach. Like, I don't have any problem with him going, all right, Dak's our quarterback. He's gonna be our guy. We're gonna get a new head coach that knows how to run an offense.
How high are you on Amari Cooper, just as a Dallas Cowboy?
Higher now than I was 2 weeks ago. I mean, he's shown that he can do it. He's 24. He's still young. He's probably, if you put him in this draft class, he's probably the first wide receiver taken.
Oh, wow. That's a good one. I like that.
Knowing that he has done it in the league, he's got 2,000-yard seasons.
If you could have Amari Cooper or any other wide receiver from this rookie draft, you would take Amari Cooper.
Knowing that Amari's put up 2,000-yard seasons, yes.
And knowing that you don't know what team those other guys are going to fall to.
Right, yeah.
I don't hate it. That's a good take, though. It's a really interesting way to think of it.
That's what I feel like. The money's a little different. I mean, obviously Cooper's going to make more than a first-round rookie.
Yeah.
But he's shown he can do it. You're paying for that stability that he'll give you. Now, he's also shown that he can be bad.
Very bad.
Yeah.
Extremely bad.
It's true.
Boy, this story just
developed. You
developed.
Want to jump to Dez now?
Yeah. Yeah, I was reading ahead. So we got to really kind of go through the steps here. A couple of big-name wide receivers were called this week for tryouts. Dez Bryant worked out for the Saints yesterday, which was Tuesday, and he signed, which is great, and we're going to get to him in a minute. The Saints also worked out Brandon Marshall and Kamar Aiken. Brandon Marshall also worked out for the Lions, who then signed Bruce Ellington.
Yeah.
So the obvious note here is, number one, if you're in a league where you have to be safe cutting players, like really super deep rosters, you are absolutely safe to let Brandon Marshall go at this point.
Yes.
And number two, Dez Bryant signing to a high-powered offense like this is intriguing, to say the least.
Okay.
What do we think of that fit? Dez Bryant in New Orleans with Drew Brees throwing him the ball.
I don't know who said it, but there was only so many teams that made sense for Dez. They had to have a strong head coach that didn't have to listen to what a GM said. Check, Sean Payton. Had to have a quarterback that knows what he's doing, had success. Check, Brees fits that. But if you look at what passing option is Dez in that offense now? 3?
Why do you say 3?
Michael
Because
Thomas is 1.
Which everyone agrees with.
2 is Alvin Kamara.
Well, okay.
And 3 would be Dez. Now, Dez is a big body, red zone. He's that big body tight end that they don't have.
I think Dez Bryant is what they wanted Cameron Meredith to be.
They're so different.
I don't think I don't think Cameron Meredith is a good wide receiver. And you and I talked about that months ago.
Yeah.
I think they're looking at their roster and they're saying, "Yo, we're going to be in the playoffs. We have a chance to win it all this year.
Yeah.
Why wait on Traquan Smith to become Dez Bryant?"
But Traquan Smith and Dez Bryant are not the same player.
They want that big-bodied wide receiver, that red zone threat.
Traquan Smith runs circles around Dez Bryant in terms of speed.
That's not what they're looking for, though. I don't think that's what they want here. I think they want a guy like Dez Bryant, and they got him. They're just not going to wait for it. And I would be shocked if Dez Bryant gets any kind of extension out of this.
No.
I'd be shocked to see Dez Bryant as a Saint next season.
Yeah, he's not gonna
I think this was simply we need a big-bodied wide receiver right now,
Yep.
rest of the year. And, I mean, he's
and if
not...
he comes in and he's a diva, they can cut him because his salary's not guaranteed because he signed week 10.
But it's a weird thing. You usually don't see teams sign a wide receiver unless there's when they have wide receivers that they believe in. I don't think they really... I'm not saying they don't believe in Cameron Meredith, they don't believe in Traquan Smith by any means, but I really think that they thought this is an upgrade to those guys right now.
Yeah. And if it's not, it doesn't hurt anything.
From a little bit of a deeper point of view, how great is this for Traquan Smith to be with not only Michael Thomas, who already has the league figured out,
Right.
but to be around Dez Bryant for a little while, maybe learn a thing or two. I think that's great.
Maybe.
We liked Traquan Smith a couple weeks ago, where we talked about he was worth that high first-round pick.
Yep.
I like him even more now. And his price might get a little
His
cheaper.
price probably drops
Just
now.
a tad.
Yeah.
You might have to throw a player in.
What are you doing with Dez Bryant? In a league where you own, if you own Dez Bryant or if he's on waivers, are you picking him up? Are you...
I'm shopping him to those teams that are in the playoffs now. If I'm a playoff team, I'm over the hill excited about it.
I'm picking him up and putting him on the trading block immediately, and I will take anything I can get. That's not true. Not anything I can get, but I'm a little picky. I won't take thirds.
Let me put it this way. Is there any other guy that you could really see blowing up for the second half of the season, making a great push for you in the playoffs as a fantasy team? I mean, Dez Bryant kind of fits that mold, does he not? He could blow up. He could also give us 3-4 points every week.
No, he's the third option there.
Yeah, but they've sustained 3 options though, Matt. That's the thing. They've had 3 fantasy relevant options every week.
Rest of season, you want Cortland Sutton or Dez Bryant?
Yeah. Rest of season.
Rest of season.
I don't know, man.
See,
that's tough.
you're going with a rookie
or a guy that might be washed up.
Yeah,
we don't know.
You were just like, he could win you a season. Sutton could do the exact same thing.
If I can only pick one in a real dynasty situation, I'm picking Sutton easy.
Right, but we're talking rest of the way.
I don't know. I don't think I have a problem with somebody that says Bryant.
Amari Cooper or Dez Bryant? I think Amari Cooper
Give me Amari Cooper. Amari Cooper has that potential.
Okay.
I'm not saying that nobody else does. I'm just saying, does Dez Bryant have that situation and have that mold to be that guy for a fantasy team?
No, I don't think.
Really?
I don't think.
Really?
I'd take Sutton over him. I'd take Cooper. I'd take Kenny Golladay over Dez right now. Rest of season.
It wasn't long ago that Dez Bryant was putting up 1,200-yard, 1,300-yard seasons.
You know what? No one else took 10 weeks off.
No, they didn't. And I don't know if he was keeping in shape, what he was doing, if he was sitting on his couch.
Le'Veon Bell or Dez Bryant rest of the way?
I think it's Dez Bryant.
I don't know if I disagree with that.
I think it's Dez Bryant.
So, yeah.
What does it say about Austin Carr? Just irrelevant, right?
He's been irrelevant for weeks, man.
I've never seen a guy get so many snaps and be this irrelevant.
He's so
it is
relevant.
unbelievable.
You know who's more relevant than Austin Carr?
Who?
The quarterback.
The backup quarterback?
Yeah.
Dude, you loved him.
I do.
Taysom Hill?
Give me some Taysom. And he's putting up points.
In every league that I have Drew Brees, which is a couple, I have Taysom Hill.
Of course you do.
Ever since
You're
you mentioned
welcome.
it. Yeah, you mentioned it like over a year ago.
Yes, I did. I love Taysom Hill.
Yeah.
Dude
and
plays special teams,
the
running
fact
back.
that they have him doing other things right now is so exciting. Because it's the not Teddy Bridgewater, but it's the Baltimore guy, Lamar Jackson. It's that. It's like, dude, I love seeing Lamar Jackson out there because it's like they're pretty much telling their fans, we know we have him.
Until Joe Flacco just misses him on a pass. Did you see they ran a play where all three quarterbacks were on the field at the same time? Teddy, Taysom, and Breeze. Oh, my goodness. Yeah, I love Taysom Hill. Love Taysom Hill.
Oh. Can we agree that Cameron Meredith is just dead in the water at this point?
That's strong, but I don't.
Really?
Yeah.
Is it really, though, Matt?
He's better than Austin Carr.
Of course he is. Who isn't?
Dez Bryant. No.
Cameron Meredith hasn't had a catch since week 5. Does that shock you?
No. Doesn't shock me. I just think he's talented. They signed him
Why?
To a 3-year deal. You follow the money, man.
What have you seen of him that's talented? The dude has 4 touchdowns in his entire career.
Nothing.
5 touchdowns, excuse me.
This year, nothing. It takes 2 years to come back from an ACL.
Okay. I don't know.
That's why Jerick McKinnon's not going to be good next year. But the following year.
Oh, don't get started on Jerick McKinnon yet. We got to talk about him probably around the end of the year.
Watch out.
That's an idea. I know we shouldn't be doing this on the air, but I think at the end of the season, like week 17 or whatever, we should look at guys that end up on the IR and kind of rank those dudes.
That's fine.
I think that's a great idea. Write that one down.
Check.
Go ahead. Matt, what the heck is a Nick Mullens?
A stud quarterback.
He is the 49ers Week 10 starter. And it's against the Giants. Let Mullens mania commence. It'll be the second year undrafted free agent, second consecutive primetime start.
Yeah.
He went 16 for 22 last week, 3 touchdowns. Are you buying in?
No.
Oh,
I'm not buying in Mullens. I'm buying.
Hot take.
But we have talked about this multiple times in the year. I love Shanahan. Shanahan proves again why he's a stud coach. He had an undrafted quarterback. He had an undrafted running back, and he had George Kittle in the 5th round. Pierre Garçon was a late round pick. Like all those guys on that offense were late round guys with a head coach that knows how to win. I mean, his offenses are amazing.
Now there was a bunch of people that blew up on Twitter and said that Mullens just took C.J. Beathard's job as the QB2.
No.
You don't think so?
No.
If all 3 of these quarterbacks, Garoppolo, Mullens, Beathard, all return next year, you think Mullens ends up being the QB3 again?
Let's see what happens game 2.
Okay.
The Giants are bad. They're not as bad as the Raiders.
In Superflex leagues, you're buying in on Mullens, though, right?
Oh, I'd start him this week if I've got no other option. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. There's a league where I actually have all 3 of them.
Garoppolo, Mullens,
and I'm so sick about it.
You're starting Mullens, right?
Yeah, but I think if there was somebody on the waiver wire, which there isn't, if there was somebody on the waiver wire that I needed to get, I don't think I have a problem cutting C.J. Beathard because I think there's a really good chance that they just roll with Mullens the rest of the way and see what they got. They know what they have in Beathard. Beathard is a fine QB2.
Yeah.
A fine QB2.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. I thought you were going to give us more than that.
I don't think he's the QB2. I wouldn't be surprised if Beathard comes back week 11 and is the starter.
He's supposed to come back.
Yeah.
I just don't think they're going to put him in that starting role.
They won with him.
I know they won with him, but I mean they're not really playing for anything this year.
They're playing it. Yeah.
Sam Darnold ruled out this week against the Bills, kind of out of nowhere. Threw 4 picks last week. Mm-hmm. Josh McCown's going to start. According to ESPN, the Bills' defense actually allows very little fantasy production to the QB. They rank 3rd against passers.
Wow.
Yeah, shocking.
That is shocking.
I know.
The problem is their offense gives up so many points that it kills their defense.
Yeah. Do you have the guts to start McCown this week? Because I don't think I do.
No.
Yeah, me either. I think I'm out.
No.
The Redskins placed wide receiver Paul Richardson on injured reserve with a shoulder injury.
Remember when people were high on Paul Richardson?
Ended the season. Yes, I do. Richardson needs to get some surgery to repair an injured AC joint.
In the shoulder.
And it ends a disappointing first Redskins campaign for the $40 million free agent.
When's the last time the Redskins had a solid wide receiver?
Richardson caught just 20 passes for 262 yards, 2 touchdowns in 7 games. 2019 will be Richardson's age 27 season. But, Matt, here's the reason why I really bring this up. Maurice Harris, looks to be locked into 3 receiver sets. And speaking of Harris, dude reeled in 10 of 12 targets, only 25 years old. And by the way, this is a contract year.
Can we go back to Richardson for just a second?
Absolutely.
He outproduced Terrell Pryor's Washington Redskins numbers, so that's a plus.
Yeah, and that was the team where Pryor actually looked decent, right? Was on the Redskins?
Pryor looked good on the Browns. Then he got a big deal with the Redskins. And
That's right. That's
bombed.
right. Maurice Harris, what are you thinking?
Oh, like I said,
Worth an ad.
Yeah, but when's the last time Washington had any wide receiver that was worth?
Maybe now's the time, Matt. Maybe now's the time.
With Alex
you can't
Smith.
use that. You've used that. Do you realize you used that probably about 3 or 4 times this show alone?
Do you realize that it's factual? Like, when was seriously, who's the best wide receiver that the Washington Redskins have had in the last 5 years?
They're due.
Oh, that's a good argument. Pierre Garçon.
It's just as good as saying, well, it's never happened, or it hasn't happened recently.
It hasn't. Jay Gruden
Maurice
doesn't know
Harris hasn't been there. Maurice Harris hasn't been in this position.
Neither is Paul Richardson. Neither is, who's the slot guy?
Look,
Crowder.
I'm not saying Maurice Harris is the coming version of Jesus, but I'm just telling you, he might end up doing something. He might end up being great for your wide receiver 3 position.
Oh, my goodness.
A flex.
You think he's a flex?
I think he could be. I didn't say I'd roll him out there this week.
No. Dude.
For a guy that's not supposed to be down, you're pretty down.
I'm down on things
down.
that have factual evidence behind them.
You don't know what's coming. It's fantasy football.
You're right.
I'm really.
You're right. Yeah, but no, the Redskins, Jay Gruden offenses, the best wide receiver that Jay Gruden's ever had is A.J. Green, and that was, 8 years ago?
Will you agree with me and tell me that he's better than Jamison Crowder? Maurice Harris. Fantasy-wise? Because I'm not so sure I wouldn't take Maurice Harris.
Yeah, I don't know.
And Jamison Crowder is the wide receiver 1 in Washington.
Yeah, no. Yeah. I remember when everyone was like, oh, yeah, Jamison Crowder's going to be wide receiver 1 because him and Alex Smith are having awesome connections in the preseason.
Yeah, Josh Doxson, by the way, wow, has done absolutely nothing this year.
I know the answer to this question, but I'm going to ask it anyway.
Sure.
Do you look at mock drafts right now?
The only reason I've looked at any mock drafts
you do.
is because I'm in that 4-sport league, and we're drafting right now.
Okay.
Other than that, I have no desire to look at it.
Usually don't. So
There's no reason.
Every mock draft that I've looked at has the Redskins drafting a wide receiver because of...
They should.
Yeah.
I agree. I agree.
Okay.
But then that's why they should know what they have in Maurice Harris. Do I not make sense?
You do make sense. I just don't know why you think he's going to
I'm not saying I think that's what's going to happen. I'm saying he has the opportunity to produce. Everybody should be adding him this week. He shouldn't ever be on a Renshaw's Renegade episode. He should be drafted. He should be taken. He should be traded for, but for very, very
How many leagues do you own
values.
Harris in?
Oh, he was available on every waiver wire.
Did you pick him up everywhere?
I put in a bid for him on almost every league, yeah.
Wow.
Except for the one that we're in where I don't have any money left because I spent it all in week 3.
Maybe I'll add Harris and trade him to you.
If I could get Harris for easily a third, I would do it.
I may pick up Harris and trade him to you for a third.
I would do that for a third.
Okay.
Yeah. Off of 1 week's good production, a 3rd round pick, yeah.
Okay. Maybe Dez Bryant for Maurice Harris.
Speaking of guys that aren't good anymore, Amir Abdullah cut this week.
Yeah.
Number 54 overall pick in 2015.
The guy got drafted before David Johnson.
David Johnson had 1 good year?
In the NFL draft. He got drafted before David Johnson.
I believe it.
Bruce Arians wanted Amir Abdullah instead of David Johnson.
Well, yeah.
Okay.
But wouldn't you know it, as fate would have it, the Vikings went ahead and they picked up Amir Abdullah. Matt, does this raise your eyebrows?
No. Here's why. Here's why. Don't the Vikings play the Lions coming up here in the next week or 2?
Revenge game, Matt. Revenge game.
Hey, give us your playbook.
Yeah.
We need help beating the Lions.
And in return, we'll give you the ball twice.
Yeah.
Or which
we'll
is
give
2
you,
more times than you had the rest of the year.
We'll pay your salary for 2 weeks.
That ain't a bad deal. That's smart.
I'm just throwing that out there.
But who'd they cut? I know I mentioned it before. Oh, Rock Thomas. They cut Rock Thomas.
Rock.
Yeah.
I want to ride.
So we got Dalvin Cook, Latavius Murray, Mike Boone, Amir Abdullah. If that doesn't scream Super Bowl, I don't know what does.
That sounds amazing.
Couple of minor IDP notes for the Cleveland Brown defense, especially. Both Christian Kirksey and EJ Gaines landed on the IR. Both players accounted for over 70% of Cleveland's defensive snaps. I know this isn't a hot take, but you may want to start every Falcon that you have.
Yeah.
Against the Browns.
Ito.
Yeah.
Get that Ito Smith.
I would totally draft Ito or start Ito Smith.
Yeah. I started him last week.
Last story for you. Sad news to report.
Oh, no.
Ex-Titans and Cardinals running back Chris Johnson has announced his retirement after 11 years in the NFL.
Yeah.
33 years old, CJ2K rushed for 2,006 yards in 2008 and produced 2,509 yards from scrimmage. That is a record that still stands, by the way. 4.46 yards per carry over the span of his entire NFL career. Any memories of Chris Johnson?
I was just going to ask you. Yes. Okay. Now, I don't know if you remember this, but I remember this with you. We did a few leagues together. We did a league with a guy that lived in a different town that was like our boss's buddy out in...
Yeah.
And we got to the last pick.
That guy was a jerk.
Yes, he was. We won the league. I won the league. You took like second or third.
Yeah.
But I remember going, you were like...
Always your backup.
I think I'm going to take Chris Johnson. And we had done a draft earlier, and he was my Mr. Overall. I'm like, dude, don't take that's my sleeper. Like, let me get him. And he blew up his rookie year, and he carried me to a couple championships that year. Yeah, I was happy to have him as a rookie.
Yeah, CJ2K is amazing. What an amazing player.
Yeah.
Really fun to watch. It was sad he never really got out. After that huge season, he was never the same. They ran him into the ground.
Yep.
But, man, that was a fun year. That was a really fun year. Memories.
Thunder and lightning.
Yeah, Matt, we're going to take a quick break. We're going to come back. We're going to talk about your Renshaw Renegades.
Let's do it.
We're going to do Wager of the Week real fast, and then we're going to go right into the hot take update. All right?
Yep.
Be right back.
Yeah, the Renegades. Renshaw's Renegades.
All right, so we had a week off. We're back. So this week's Renegades, we've got good old fastest man on the 2016 season, 2017 season.
I think it was 2017.
2017 season.
Thank you very much.
He ran 22 miles an hour faster than a cheetah. Elijah McGuire is my first Renegade. He's owned in 41% of MFL leagues. McGuire took over as a clear number 2 running back in his first game back from injured reserve. He benefited from some long gains against soft defenses on third down or in the hurry up, so the yardage total is a bit inflated, but he played 55% of snaps, 13 more than Isaiah Crowell, ran the 8th most routes in the league amongst running backs. So the offense is going to hold him back, but he's a flex guy in some deep formats. And then I'm going with my rookie wide receiver 1 prediction, Anthony Miller. Now, he's owned in 47% of leagues, and this Renegade could blow up in my face if Allen Robinson comes back. But he's led receivers and targets on the Bears the last 3 games. He doesn't have much to show for it outside of a touchdown against the Jets, but he's got a matchup against the Lions. And like I said, if Robinson doesn't play, that's a decent shot for him to do something, especially since he's led receivers in targets. So those are my 2.
Nice.
They don't sound awful. They're not great. It's getting slim pickings.
I was going to say, well, it's the time of the year.
Yeah. So
Kind of a tough spot for you.
Yep.
Those are good. Well, after a week off, you ready for the wager of the week?
Let's hear it.
All right, here we go.
It's the Dynasty Dad's Wager of the Week.
All right, Matt, I'm 5-2 on the year. Took a week off. Life got in the way.
Yep.
Hoping to get that mojo back. So, here we go.
What are you doing? What are you making fun of Chiefs?
For the first time this season, my wager of the week is on the red-hot Kansas City Chiefs by a staggering 16.5 at home versus the Arizona Cardinals. Staggering, I know. I know we like to give the KC fans the business on this show, but damn, that team is firing on all cylinders right now. And Arrowhead Stadium is not a fun place to be if you're the visiting team, especially if you're used to the warm weather and comfy indoor stadium the Cardinals are used to. But Justin, 16.5 is a lot of points. Sit down and shut up, Gerald. I know 16.5 is a lot in the NFL, but guess what? Andy Reid don't care. They beat the Browns by 16. They beat the Bengals by 35, the Jags by 16, and the Niners by 11. All this season. This team will run up the score if you let them, and trust me, the Cardinals will let them. The Zona offense is putrid. As a matter of fact, they only average 20 net yards per drive. 20 net yards per drive?
That's pretty bad.
Guess where that ranks in the NFL?
Dead last.
Dead last.
Good guess.
Oh, maybe they'll try to control the clock with that epic running back, David Johnson. No, they won't. Cardinals rank dead last in rushing 2. And say what you want about the Arizona defense. They may not be that bad, but they do not have the playmakers or the scheme to contain that Chiefs offense. Halloween is over. Don't be scared. Look that 16.5 point line in the face and slam it.
It's like you're dying.
I feel like I'm dying as a Bronco fan to have to give that stupid chant.
I will tell you that
Are you playing Candy Crush? Is that what you're doing?
No.
Looks like Candy Crush.
Not Candy Crush. I would tell you that most of your wager of the weeks I can agree with. I am definitely going to take the points here.
Yeah. I don't blame you. 16.5's a lot,
Yeah.
Gerald. But I looked at everything, and the only other one that I thought of making the wager of the week, just for sidebar here,
Yeah.
I really, really considered the Bengals +5 at home versus the Saints.
Yeah.
Yep. I thought the Bengals had a bye week,
Yep.
so they've had time to kind of figure this out. Bengals haven't looked good, but when they do look good, they look all right. So kind of hot and cold.
But no AJ.
And I feel like the Saints are coming off of a game they really didn't expect to win, quite frankly. I think they're good. And Dez Bryant I just don't think he's going to be a factor this week either.
No, I don't either.
So, I don't know. That's just me.
I'll take the points. So one of us is going to be right.
Yeah, it's a sharp take. I get it.
Yeah.
It's a risk. So let's talk hot takes.
All right.
Do you want to start with yours this time?
Sure.
This
Josh
is gonna
Gordon.
be fun. You said Josh Gordon finishes better than Jarvis Landry, and it wasn't hot because their ADP was really close.
Yep.
But you and I were really, one's a big fan of Josh Gordon, one's a big fan of Jarvis Landry.
Yep.
I'll let you figure out who's who. Currently, it's 126 to 82 Jarvis. However, this week's performance from Gordon was the first time he's outscored Jarvis Landry on a week-to-week basis.
Yep.
I will say Josh Gordon did look very nice.
Thank you.
So there's a lot to like there. Josh Gordon's another guy. If I'm a team that's competing this year, I don't mind you going to get him.
What are you going to offer?
I think he's easily worth a first right now.
I would agree.
I don't think you can get him less for that.
No.
Your other one was Dion Lewis, who was at the time running back 31. Yep. I love that I put that in there. He was RB 31 in drafts.
My take. I put that.
I
in there.
know. I agreed with you on it.
Oh, okay.
Finished higher than Derrick Henry, who was RB 17.
Yep.
A ton earlier than what Dion Lewis was getting drafted at. And guess what? You're right. Dion Lewis outscores Henry right now 102 to 55, almost doubling it.
Yep.
Henry is clearly nothing more than a short yardage back in that Tennessee offense.
Yep.
Nothing more.
They paid him. They paid Lewis. He's going to get his touches.
Lamar Miller, currently being drafted as the RB 33 at that time. You said he was going to finish as an RB2 or better, which is top 24.
Yep.
He is currently the RB 26, so he's right there. 92 points. He's been pretty hot lately.
Yep.
The running back 24 is Buck Allen, and he only leads Lamar Miller by a single point.
Yep.
Very, very close.
Yep. I feel good about that one.
Yep. We got a couple more from you. He said
Here's the bads.
You said Anthony Miller finishes as a rookie wide receiver 1.
Yep. Now he's a renegade.
And as a top 30 wide receiver option.
Yep.
I don't think this one's going to work out for you.
I don't either.
He's currently wide receiver 72 overall with the rookies and vets. I didn't bother to look at just rookies.
That's okay.
He's the wide receiver 3 in Chicago, fantasy point-wise.
Yeah.
So it's not looking good. He flashes talent,
Yes,
though.
he does.
He's somebody that if you can get him low, buy him low.
Yeah.
I just don't think his value has dropped tremendously.
No, I would agree.
But he's somebody you can buy.
Yeah.
Joe Mixon finishes outside the top 20 running backs for the 2018 season. I don't know, Matt.
Yeah, he's going to take an injury.
He's currently, and he's already been injured. That's the scary thing.
I know. It's going to take another injury.
He's RB17 with 111 points. Currently, the RB20 is the guy we talked about, Dion Lewis, with 102. So it's a pretty narrow margin.
Yeah.
But Joe Mixon has just looked electric.
Yeah. Hey, what do I got? I'm 3 for 5. I'll take that.
Yeah. Let's see. For me, I had Allen Hurns finishes 3rd or worse in PPR fantasy points for just the Dallas Cowboys wide receivers.
Yep.
Hurns is currently 3rd with 44.1. That is a 1-point lead over Michael Gallup.
Okay.
Cole Beasley and Amari Cooper lead Hurns by at least 30 points. So I feel okay. This one's fun.
Yeah.
I said Dez Bryant scores 10 touchdowns this season. Could this be the beginning of the most epic comeback in hot take history, Matt?
He needs a touchdown and a half for the rest of the season per game.
It's probably not going to happen, but hey, at least he's on a roster. This is step 1.
Yeah.
I also said Laquan Treadwell outscores Will Fuller in PPR leagues. Got laughed at for that one. Currently 106.3 to 58.3.
Yeah.
Will Fuller. But Will Fuller is yet again found himself on the IR. And all I got to say is now is your time, Laquan.
He's a listener. He listens to the show.
If there was ever a time to do this, it's now.
Here's your shot.
Will Fuller cannot stay healthy.
No.
Unbelievable.
He's electric.
Jameis Winston finishes the season as a QB1. That's top 12. Yikes.
Yeah.
Jameis managed to lose his job to Ryan Fitzpatrick.
Twice.
Yeah, twice. And this one does not seem too likely to hit.
No.
I also said Austin Hooper was going to finish the season as a top 6 as at the tight end position.
That's looking.
Hooper is currently the tight end 9 with 86 points, and the tight end 6 is the guy that's been on an absolute tear, O.J. Howard,
Yeah.
with just over 100 points. So we got a couple touchdowns there we need to make up, or a nice big game, but he's right there.
Yeah.
He's in that mix.
My overrated Jones Howard. Just, yeah.
Last one, Alex Collins vastly outplays his ADP, top 12 running back. Whew. Running back 12 is Tariq Cohen with 112. Collins is running back 21 with just over 100 points. So just a 12-point dog there. Off subject.
Okay.
James White is the running back 6.
Yeah.
He trails Barkley and Kareem Hunt by less than 5 points.
Yeah.
I'm sure he's far cheaper than those two.
Yeah. Yeah.
Isn't that great?
That's because you can't trust anybody in New England. And Sony Michel's been out and he's coming back. And
But you can't blame that on just a guy being out for a couple weeks, a rookie running back. Dude,
No.
he's running back. I just can't even believe it. Running back 6.
Yeah.
He doesn't fit in that lineup at all. Like when you look at the top 10 running backs,
no.
it's just weird to see James White there. It's
Who's
cool.
James White?
Yeah, it's cool to see, but it's just like, whoa, what world is this in? 5 points less than
Wayne's
Saquon
World.
Barkley, Kareem Hunt, and you could trade him for considerably less.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
Tremendously less.
Vastly less. You
Vastly
like that.
less.
Thank
you. Thank you. That's all I got, Matt.
That's
it. I think we did all right with
we
hot
did
takes
pretty
this
good
year.
this year. I would. Yeah. I mean, it's week 10.
Yeah, easy.
But I mean, at the over the halfway point.
Dez Bryant's going to score those 10 touchdowns. You know that, right?
No, he's not.
It's going to be the most epic hot take ever.
I'm just amazed that you have kept him on your roster this long.
You're damn right. After I paid what I paid,
Yeah, it's true.
you can't just cut him.
Yeah.
But I came close. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah.
Especially when Maurice Harris popped up.
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
Too bad you don't have any cash to go get him.
I was right there. That does it for the show, Matt. Have a good weekend.
Yeah.
Have a good week of games.
Yeah.
Get ready for the playoffs. Make your trades.
Sorry for your loss. Swept.
It's okay.
Yeah.
I
Lots of teams are going to sweep you this year. It's okay.
Yeah, I was gonna say, and just about the whole league is gonna sweep me. So,
Yeah.
anyways, all right, guys. We'll see you next week. Until then, we're out.
Thanks for hanging out with us on another episode of the Dynasty Dads Podcast. Be sure to subscribe on iTunes and follow us on Twitter @DynastyDads. Visit us at our website, dynastydads.com, for articles, news, and notes, Dynasty Dads gear, and more.